Lucy, what's up? Here's my little Lucifer. I just want to say hello and just acknowledge that I haven't been taking care of her and giving her the proper um, the proper grooming. I've been so busy, but God, she's cute with this little scruffy face. Yes. So I am wanting to do this Facebook Live for those of you who are struggling in this time of year. I've been working on a lot of client calls lately and speaking to a lot of people struggling. This time of year seems to be massive with depression, with anxiety, with a lot of emotional turmoil coming into the holidays. And I had this very interesting client insight who's been somebody who's been diagnosed with depression. And so what I do lately, basically, for those of you who haven't met me before, I am a chiropractor who also helps professionals and entrepreneurs and individuals struggling with stress, depression, and anxiety turn around and take specific action steps to have their best year ever. And what I discovered about depression, especially with people, even those who've been diagnosed by a medical doctor, is that it's been a misdiagnosis. And I know what I'm saying is controversial, because what does a chiropractor have anything to do, any right to be able to speak about this mental illness? Because the body and the mind are not linked at all. Well, I got something to say. It's really interesting to me that people who have been diagnosed, rather than just dismiss them with an illness, why not take a look at the story and ask the question, when did this happen? And you go in, and when you examine the story, depression is not the case. I have yet to see a case and help a client with depression who isn't also following and living by a story of guilt, of resentment, of regret, of trauma, of something. And what I discovered is that guilt is extremely powerful. In other words, if you've done something to somebody else or yourself where you have been holding on to regret, well, then, depending on the level and the scale of it, you're beating yourself up, and it leads to what I've observed in my clinical practice, both depression and autoimmune disorders. So underneath those seemingly physical or mental problems is a story of guilt and regret. Hey, Allie, what's up? So consider that it's not depression that you're dealing with. It's You want to ask the question, what is it that I regret and what do I feel guilty for? Please share this with somebody you know who's been dealing with this. This could make or break, because here's the problem. If you live with the diagnosis and think, oh, my choices don't matter, my story doesn't matter, and you're actually going and taking medication rather than going and dealing with the specifics of why, what you need to do to clear that, then you are not dealing with the problem, you're numbing it, and the problem is stewing and brewing and making you more miserable, and it will lead to other health problems. I've seen this ripple effect happen from people who aren't willing to actually deal with the issue. It's quicker to just take a pill or do a meditation, but not actually deal with the guilt and the regret and the resentment. So how do you deal with the guilt? You basically go and, first of all, get help, get a mentor, because if it's a heavy-duty guilt, then you're not going to be able to change that story without somebody showing you and guiding you how to see it from a different perspective. It's super duper important for you to do that. For those of you who are not yet, please join my group. It's called the Art of Powerful Alignments. Going through some name changes here, some identity crisis, but it's a Facebook group. I'll leave the link at the bottom. Please join, because this conversation is continually happening each and every day with people who are taking their depression, taking their guilt, taking their story, and transforming that guilt into power, transforming it and restoring and repairing what's been broken. Because if you don't have that, your timing is impeccable. Well, Ali, you're not the only one. The reason why I'm doing this Facebook blast is because client after client after client who feels like they're not connected to a higher purpose. They don't know why they're here. They are not happy waking up, and they just can't get themselves out of bed. They don't know, what they want to do with their lives. They want to hide from the public. They don't even want to be seen in social scenarios. Why? Because they occur to themselves as a piece of shit. They're beating themselves constantly. They're looking in the mirror and they're saying, I can't stand myself. And I know exactly what that feels like because I've gone through it. I know what it's like to go through depression, but if I went to a doctor and said I'm depressed, they probably would have given me a pill to suppress the symptoms rather than me actually getting help outside of just my own, thoughts and getting somebody that I trusted to beat it into me how what I did served the other person and served myself. And the delusion that lives with guilt is that I should have done things differently at the time. Well, you got to understand, yes, absolutely, change the story. You got to understand what we do in any given moment is the most intelligent thing that we can do at the time. At the time, at the time, at the time. It's easy to look back and go 20 years later and go, geez, I should have bought stock in Apple. But at the time, 20 years ago, I didn't have the funds, I didn't have the knowledge, and there's no way you can predict the future. So it's easy to look back and have guilt and regret and resentment towards yourself, which is the cause of depression. So that needs to change. So I'm going to invite you. Send me a private message if this is something that you're dealing with. I'd love to chat with you and see what the possibilities are. Or next thing, I want you to join the Art of Powerful Alignment. The link I'm going to place right at the bottom and underneath in the comment section. Join that. Introduce yourself. Share with the tribe what you're dealing with, and be prepared. I'm going to be doing free webinars and trainings and master classes over the next week in how to transform stress and depression and anxiety into power, into freedom, into a cause greater than yourself. So I invite you to join, and not only I will be there, but Lucy, she's tired. Lucy's going to be there as well, and we're going to be there. It's going to be I'd love to have you join in, and the Art of Powerful Alignment. Join the Facebook group and introduce yourself, and let's keep the conversation going. Peace out. Please share this. Share this with somebody that you know freaking needs this.